Jurgen Klopp had his final press conference as Liverpool manager ahead of their final game. Of course, we have known for a while already that he is to leave, and Arne Slot ready to take over. But let's have a listen, let's have a watch at what the German manager had to say in his final press.
For me, it's absolutely. I'm absolutely fine. I know we could have won more, but I cannot change that anymore. So I'm absolutely fine. We could have won less. It's possible as well. Not becoming champion for a point, it's not a great experience, but it's an experience and shows you that you are really good. That will not be in the history books, obviously. It's not, and then all the wins and then the nearly wins, they will not be there. I know that. That's life. But you cannot. If you are in it, you cannot see it like that. I can't. And I couldn't have done anything different. I said before, I would not be happy if I would have thought I could have done more. I couldn't have done more. Could have done better. Me, not. Could somebody else done better? Well, probably. That's possible. But me in that situation, no. And that's why I'm fine with it. And the rest will be judged by the people. And I'm pretty sure more of them are fine with what we did, and some think it's not enough, and both is absolutely all right if they think like that.
In his incredible stretch with Liverpool as manager, 7 major trophies, 1 Premier League title, 2 times runners-up to Manchester City, 1 Champions League title, 2 runners-up to Real Madrid, Club World Cup, Super Cup, of course, the FA Cup, and 2 Carabao Cups. But it's also, Janis, about what he meant to Liverpool fans and what he meant to the community. Where would you put Jurgen Klopp in terms of his reputation, who he is, and what he's given to Liverpool? How would Liverpool fans remember Jurgen Klopp when he says goodbye?
Well, I think you just answer. I mean, all you have to do is ask the fans. That's the most important thing. We can say whatever we want, and we change our minds very often from game to game, right? Mikel Arteta is a great example, at least for me, a couple of years back, where I thought he wasn't good enough. There you have it. But look, I mean, every club in the world is looking for a manager like Jurgen Klopp that gives you stability, that gives you a good way of playing, and a possibility of winning trophies. And he's done more than that in 9 years. I mean, you kidding me? Here's a manager at one of the biggest clubs in the world that at no point he was in danger of being sacked. I don't even know if there was a discussion, certainly not amongst the fans and us as well, right? So you look what he's accomplished, just the fact that he finally won that Premier League. And we're talking about Jurgen Klopp in an era of Manchester City, which we were just talking about. The margins are so small. Liverpool have felt it. 98-7 season. Mikel Arteta and Arsenal may feel it right now, where they think to themselves, we've done more than we could possibly do, and we still haven't won it. So when I look at Jurgen Klopp, and this season in particular, where I didn't think that was going to be as successful, and I think it was very successful, with all that rebuild, where in the back of his mind, he already knew that he wanted to do it. He spoke to his owners, I think it was in November already about that, and yet had the drive to not only rebuild that midfield, but Liverpool were in the title run till a couple of weeks ago. So I think he's an absolute legend. Could he have won more? Absolutely. Has he won enough? Just ask the Liverpool fans.
Yeah, and let's have a look at this last season. Of course, a Carabao Cup. They'll confirm 3rd place, of course, over 80 points if they get a draw or that victory on Sunday. Rob Dawson, did they overachieve, underachieve this final season? What do you think?
I mean, I think in terms of where they were in February, maybe they'll feel it's a little bit of a missed opportunity, given that they were right in the title race. They'd won the Carabao Cup, they were still in the FA Cup and looked on course for the Europa League. So in terms of where they were in February, maybe it's a little bit of an anticlimax. But all I would say is that when you go back to the start of the season, I'm not sure that many people had them down as realistic title contenders. Lots of the talk before the season was about City again and about Arsenal. No one really was mentioning Liverpool in the same breath because of the rebuild that they had to do, particularly with the work that they had to do in midfield. So, the fact that Jurgen Klopp got them into that position sort of come February time should be applauded. I imagine that he's probably looking at that position that they were in around that time and thinking, maybe we should have won a bit more. They've run into a City team again, like they have so many seasons, that are just formidable winners. So I don't think there's any shame in finishing 3rd behind City and Arsenal in the Premier League. Perhaps the one that he may have a little bit of regret about is the Europa League. You know, there was that little week where they had a wobble and then they lost that first leg quite heavily to Atalanta in the Europa League and you know, couldn't salvage it in the second leg. You know, maybe he's looking at that and thinking if they perform better in that first leg against Atalanta, they would be looking forward to Europa League final and a big send-off for him in a major European final. But in terms of what they've achieved, what he's achieved throughout his career at Liverpool and what they've achieved this season, as Janis said, I think he's won enough. You know, it's an incredible record. He's won everything there is to win. I think if you'd offered him that when he first took over at Liverpool, with the state that club were in, I think he would have bitten your hand off.
James, I'm very curious here because we have obviously talked highly of Jurgen Klopp, and rightly so, the influence that he has given Liverpool Football Club. What's next for Liverpool, do you think? I know it's a tough one because not even Arne Slot has even entered the building, but you know he is obviously on his way there. But there's a lot of changes. Of course, Mohamed Salah is not getting any younger, and there's a lot of tactical, philosophical changes for Liverpool. Where do you see Liverpool now? Because when Sir Alex Ferguson left, and yes, I am mentioning Sir Alex because I do believe that Liverpool fans and the relationship that he built with Jurgen Klopp is that strong. But where do you see Liverpool now, post Jurgen Klopp, looking into a different blank canvas of a future?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, he is, as the guys have said, he's more than a manager. He's a cultural icon in Liverpool, and you know, the reason why I don't think there's any kind of debate in Liverpool about whether he's won enough or whether his record was good enough in finals and that kind of thing is because of the way he's made them feel for 9 years. And you can't, you know, we can look at the history books and we can look at the stats and we can pore over, you know, every number related to their performance, but you can't quantify that feeling. And that, in a way, is going to be Arne Slot's biggest challenge, is that he's got to try and find a way to build his own connection with the supporters and really understand that city and what the club means to the area. To me, a lot of it comes down to what they're going to do with Salah, because you know he's 31, I think now. He's got a year left on his contract, and the expectation is that there'll be Saudi money coming back for him. They obviously turned down a huge bid for him in the past. If that Saudi money materialises, Liverpool have a massive decision to make, in my opinion. You know, do you say, right, we're going to risk losing him for nothing in a year, keep our best player, our absolute talisman, and not want to lose a key player like that in the same summer as Jurgen Klopp leaving? Or do you say to Arne Slot, okay, we're going to take the money here, we're going to take, let's say, 150 million, huge amount of money for one player with 1 year left on his deal, but we're going to give every penny of that to you, and you can then go and spend it how you want to mould this team in your own image. And there must be an appeal to that for Liverpool, because you are kind of, you know, they've had the end of an era forced upon them by Klopp's decision to leave. But you really start to take that and own that in a different way if you decide to sell the key player that you've had during that period in Mohamed Salah. And I'm not suggesting that Salah, I mean, it will be a huge loss if they did decide to cash in on him, and obviously someone else is going to have to step up. But they are well stocked in those kind of attacking areas. It's not as if they'd be scratching around for options there. That's not to say that Liverpool are better off without him. But what I'm saying is that I think that if that materialises, there is a strong case to say for Arne Slot, here's the money, take it, go and build your own team, rather than, and this is the problem that David Moyes had when he took over from Sir Alex Ferguson at Manchester United, is that you sort of feel like you're kind of just caretaker, really. You're just trying to keep the Fergie image going. You're trying to keep that, you know, that mentality and that structure, and really you're just a kind of you know, caretaker, temporary, transient person who's just trying to pass it on to the next guy in a few years. I think what Arne Slot wants to do is really come in and stamp his own authority on it. And were they to sell Salah and then spend that money in that way and be aggressive and be proactive with it, it would accelerate that opportunity to rebuild the team in his own image. And as much as they don't want to, they have to move on from Jurgen Klopp. And that would be a way to fast track that right at the start of his tenure.